Hello. Joel tried to scream, but the sound was trapped. No vibration, no echo, just an internal tremor. He thrashed in the impenetrable darkness, a chilling realization dawning on him: he wasn't breathing. Panic seized him. Was he in a coma? A dream? He tried to pinch himself, anything to confirm he was real, but there was no body to pinch. The truck headlights, the screech, then this suffocating void. An eternity seemed to pass, then a faint whisper tickled the edges of his awareness. It sounded like his own voice, yet it wasn't. Voice, Joel. Joel's heart pounded, or what felt like a heart. Who's there? Is someone there? Please, help me. The voice came again, closer now, still eerily familiar. Voice, Joel. A chilling thought surfaced from the depths of forgotten Sunday school lessons. Jesus calling, knocking. He'd abandoned Christianity for Judaism, a logical choice in his eyes. Was this some divine intervention he'd completely miscalculated? Is this like Jesus calling out to me? Did I miss something? Joel stammered, a strange mix of fear and exasperation in his non-existent voice. Voice, it's not even close. The response was immediate, cutting through his religious musings. Joel's desperation grew. Who are you? Where am I? What's happening to me? Am I dead? He fired off questions, his frustration building. As he spoke, the voice slowly shifted. It deepened, resonating with a profound bass, a baritone that hummed with ancient power, yet was surprisingly pleasant to hear, like something from a Hollywood epic about the divine. Entity, stop shouting, Joel. It's useless. You're dead. Joel's internal world reeled. Dead? Is this the afterlife? Am I talking to God? What kind of being are you? Entity, I am the beginning of everything. I created the gods. I am the nameless, the true hidden one. So, you're God? Joel asked, a touch of awe in his unspoken query. Entity, I am not to be called one of my created entities. You may call me God, but it will confuse you. Think of a name to refer to me by. Joel hesitated, searching for a name that felt appropriate, yet respectful of this unimaginable presence. Rosh? Would Rosh be okay? Entity, Rosh is acceptable. Do you have more questions for Rosh, Joel? Rosh, what's going to happen to me? Joel asked, the concept of being dead still a heavy, disorienting weight. As Rosh considered his question, the oppressive darkness around Joel began to shimmer. Faint outlines appeared, coalescing into a hazy vision that solidified with astonishing speed. Before him unfolded a world bathed in a warm, earthy light. It was strikingly similar to Earth, yet distinctly different. Structures of mud and clay, reminiscent of ancient Middle Eastern villages, dotted a landscape devoid of grand castles or towering cities. Suddenly, the scene shifted, revealing a chaotic battlefield. People, clad in simple tunics and armed with crude weapons, clashed with an intensity that transcended mere physical combat. Bolts of crackling energy erupted from their hands, shaping the very air around them. Strange creatures, beasts of myth and nightmare, winged serpents, multi-limbed horrors, and beings of pure shadow, materialized and vanished in flashes of light and sound. It was a world teeming with raw, untamed magic. Rosh, the god of this world, has randomly summoned you. You are the first among those summoned. Joel watched the fantastical tableau unfold, a mixture of terror and bewildered fascination gripping him. What did Rosh mean by summoned? And why him? A conversation in limbo, Joel's new path. Rosh, what's going to happen to me? Joel's voice, though still unheard, vibrated with a desperate urgency. He watched the ethereal battlefield, the bizarre creatures and raw magic, his mind struggling to grasp the bizarre reality unfolding. The deep, resonant voice of Rosh filled the void, calming yet direct. My creations, the beings you call gods, are tools. They are the architects, the builders of the physical universes. Each is granted a spark of my essence, a mandate to sculpt matter and life. This particular world you see, Viridia, was shaped by a goddess. Joel peered closer at the chaotic yet vibrant vision of Viridia. A goddess? Is she like you? Rosh let out something akin to a sigh, a vast, cosmic exhalation that rippled through Joel's non-existent form. She is less than ideal. Her parents, previous divine architects, were far more capable. This is simply one of the quirks of creation. You don't always control the outcome of your offspring. But no, she is nothing like me, nothing can contain me or resemble me. Joel, ever the pragmatist, pressed his point. But if you're the supreme being, can't you control everything? Don't you know everything? Yes, Rosh stated calmly, the single word carrying the weight of infinite knowledge. But I do not care to intervene. Things are often best left to run their course. There are indeed universes that splinter into multiverse, crafting different realities for specific individuals. But that is not this world. This is precisely as your fantasy novels describe. The vision of Viridia pulsed, drawing Joel's attention back. He saw a female figure, shimmering faintly, observing the battles below with a detached, almost bored expression. The goddess of Viridia, Rosh continued, a subtle hint of disdain in his tone, is remarkably petty, much like a human. She has quirks and obsesses to be a higher goddess, including the consumption of her human's life force. Yet, because of the sheer quality and purity of their virtues, their resilience, their kindness, their inherent goodness, it makes no difference to her own power or abilities. It simply does not improve or satiates her level of increase in divine power. The scene on Viridia flickered, and Joel vaguely perceived a council of luminous beings, their forms indistinct, surrounding the goddess. She has been advised by the divine council of this universe, Rosh's voice deepened, to man up and fix it, or face removal from her domain. Another god could take over, or the council could have her world simply removed. Joel shivered, despite having no body to shiver with. Removed? Like, destroyed? Precisely. In this particular universe, when an erring divine being acts against their creation, it affects all other divine beings collectively. Their errors ripple through the divine fabric. Rosh paused, and the vibrant chaos of Viridia seemed to solidify, becoming more vivid, as if reaching out to Joel. However, for you, Joel, there is an opportunity. The goddess, in her peculiar way, has allowed you a choice. You will be reincarnated onto Viridia. You may choose the family into which you are born, and you are destined to become a great wizard or sage. Joel's thoughts raced. She will? Is she really going to do that, Rosh? After everything you've said about her? She will, Rosh replied, his tone unwavering. I will let you know when it is time to do so. Joel, still unconvinced, pushed further. Why was I chosen? Rosh replies, you being summoned was more or less the luck of the draw. He paused, a hint of his analytical mind asserting itself even in this surreal state. But there's no such thing as luck, Rosh. Joel rebuts. Rosh's vast presence seemed to soften, a cosmic understanding. Ah, your virtue, Joel. Your innate grasp of patterns, your belief in the underlying logic of existence. You, a coder in your earthly life, sought order in chaos. You are correct, luck is a concept born of limited perception. It was not luck in the way humans perceive it. It was more like the search parameters found you. The criteria for this unique transition, the confluence of specific virtues and circumstances, aligned with your essence. You were identified, you might say, as the optimal candidate for this particular redirection onto Viridia. Think of it as a very precise algorithm at work. Joel, finally convinced, shifted his focus from his own predicament to the world he was about to enter. Tell me more about Viridia, then. And this, goddess. What's her name? Her name is Xylos, Rosh stated, a dry note in his voice. And despite her ill-conceived desires, the divine council of this universe strictly forbids human sacrifices. Her attempts to consume their life force, while ineffective, are a gross violation of their cosmic charter. Rosh's attention seemed to expand, encompassing the very fabric of Viridia. This particular universe, Joel, was one I created earlier, as a stepping stone. A precursor, you might say, to more physically stable worlds or universe. Worlds with truly stable atomic and subatomic particles. This universe, however, will remain having an atmosphere of unstable particles. Joel's formless brow furrowed in confusion. Unstable particles? If that's the case, why would there still be life? Wouldn't everything just fall apart? Precisely because of that instability, Joel, Rosh explained, the cosmic being's voice holding a hint of revelation. The unstableness allows people to control the particles. The inhabitants of Viridia have learned to manipulate this inherent volatility. They call it magic. A new thought, a question of logic, bubbled up in Joel's non-existent mind. If he was being summoned to a new world, destined for a new life, then what was he doing here, having this conversation with Rosh? Before he could voice it, Rosh's vast presence seemed to anticipate his inquiry. You are wondering why you are here, speaking with me, if your soul has already been selected for transference, Rosh stated, his voice calm, as if merely echoing Joel's own thoughts. Understand, Joel, that your thoughts are, to me, like you speaking aloud. I hear everything you process, every query your mind forms. Rosh's cosmic gaze seemed to pierce through the layers of existence, a grave concern entering his boundless awareness. The reason for this, direct communication, is urgent. If Xylos, that idiot of a goddess, continues to mess up, this universe could destabilize beyond repair and collapse in on itself. Such an implosion would not be contained. It could trigger a domino effect, reverberating through the interconnected fabric of existence, causing other universes to implode, including your own origin universe. I know this because I know everything, Rosh continued, the simple statement carrying absolute authority. And because I know everything, I know what needs to be done. There was a moment during the initial search parameters for a suitable soul to balance the growing chaos in Viridia. A small flip, you might say, in the cosmic probabilities. Your sleeping soul, dormant in its earthly slumber, was thus chosen as the optimal candidate for this critical intervention. Joel, his mind still working through the implications, asked, why does it sound like I was specifically chosen? You said it was a flip, but now it sounds deliberate. The specificity of the parameters simply singled you out, Joel, Rosh replied, his voice firm. The precise alignment of virtues and circumstances required for Viridia's current needs narrowed the field of potential candidates down to an exceptionally small number. Your unique combination of logic, skepticism, and innate goodness made you the ideal match. Joel paused again, a new urgency in his unspoken query. And when is this going to happen? This reincarnation? Is it in the future? Rosh's cosmic form seemed to shimmer. You are now summoned, Joel. We are in between time. Joel frowned, confused. Between time? What does that even mean? Think of it this way, Joel, Rosh patiently explained, what is 100,000th of a second out in the divine realm, this realm we currently inhabit, can become 100,000 years for you. Time here does not flow as it does in the physical realms. You are here to train and learn. Like I told you earlier, you will learn everything you need to know. Everything. Joel, still processing, couldn't help but voice his doubt. Learn everything? Even magic? I'm just a programmer. You would be almost having the power of the gods, Joel, Rosh declared, a subtle energy radiating from him. Indeed, it is godlike power, except for you being a mortal with a physical body. But in the physical realm of Viridia, you will need to train your physical body to contain your inherent powers. Your mortal vessel must be prepared to wield such energies without being consumed. Still unconvinced, Joel's skepticism remained. Rosh, sensing his thoughts, continued. You were chosen, Joel, not just because you fit the parameters, but because you possess a critical detachment. Your logical mind, your belief in cause and effect rather than blind luck, makes you uniquely suited to understand the underlying mechanisms of Viridia's instability and the power it offers. You must train, not merely to wield magic, but to understand and stabilize the very fabric of that world. Your perception, your very nature, is a tool to rectify the errors of a goddess too petty to see beyond her own desires. Joel groaned, a soundless but palpable expression of exasperation. Oh, great! So not only is the fate of multiple universes resting on me, but I have to babysit some petty goddess and fix her screw-ups? And I'm supposed to train for potentially thousands of years in limbo to do it. He scoffed, his logical mind recoiling at the absurdity. It sounds like I'm being drafted into some cosmic cleanup crew. And then, once I'm there, I'm supposed to, what? Start a rebellion against a goddess? That's not really my drift, Rosh. I'm a coder, not a revolutionary. A faint ripple passed through Rosh's vast form, a sensation akin to amusement. Your logical mind, Joel, and your aversion to chaos are precisely what make this interesting. Imagine the satisfaction of bringing order to a world governed by such irrationality. And a rebellion? You misinterpret. Think of it less as a rebellion and more as optimization. Correcting faulty code, you might say. Just go out there and have fun, Joel. Don't follow the convention or what's expected. Simply exist and learn. Soon enough, you will learn all the tricks of the trade there.